Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the Butt Fumble Sports Daily Show live here on Thursday. We are talking NBA, we're talking NHL, we're talking college hoops, but of course, we are 24 hours closer to the Chiefs 49ers Super Bowl 58. I hope you are excited. We are getting close to that weekend, everybody. One more work day left, and then we have a weekend of football excitement ahead of us. Last football game of the season. I hope you guys are ready for it. If you guys are still have that on your horizon and you're focused more on today's games, don't worry. We're going to get into all the action tonight to give out picks, obviously to do everything we can. Make sure you guys put your questions, your comments, everything in the chat, because we are here to help you. No matter the platform you're watching on, no matter where you're watching, Butt Fumble Sports is here for real sports fans like you. That's why we created this network. A sports fan like myself just wants to create some good sports content for all of you sports fans out there. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're a part of this incredible community of sports fans that comes together every single day to talk about what's going on in the sports world and hopefully put some more money in your pockets. We'll be doing our normal bit of research here using the Outlier app. We're going to be giving out picks every 1,000 likes. We'll give out player prop bets at 1,000 likes, game picks at 2,000 likes. A lot to get into. I will warn you guys, I am not a big fan of tonight's college basketball slate. I am not betting that one almost at all. Not a fan of what I'm seeing up on the board, but we do have some NHL picks tonight, and of course, we have a lot of NBA picks. I say that because I know Diego is already asking about some of those picks. Diego, I got to admit, I am not a fan of this college basketball slate. I feel like there are a lot of traps in there. Cincinnati, Trey Hendrickson, 2024 Defensive Player of the Year. Interesting take. I could see it. Already you must be hyped about next season as Joe Burrow looks to be healthy and the Bengals look to bounce back from what was a bit of a rough year. Let's see. CA Live. I'm go 49ers more rush yards on McCaffrey and Pacheco 99. I'm not quite sure about your question, Kittle. Anytime touchdown. Interesting ones. I don't love what you're putting out there so far, but we will have a show exclusively for subscribers tonight on TikTok where we're going to go through all the Super Bowl player prop bets. So during today's show, we're going to focus a lot on tonight's schedule, but if you guys want to get some player prop bets for Super Bowl 58, we will do a subscriber-only show later tonight on TikTok where we're going to answer questions and give out all of our player prop bets. As for this show, when we hit 1,000 likes, we'll give out an NBA player prop bet. 2,000 likes, we'll give out game picks, and we'll just keep doing that until we're done. Yeah, CA Live, I didn't get your comment the first time. I don't get it the second time. So make sure that you guys put your comments in there and just write them legibly so I can get to some of them. Dante, hello to you. Hope you're having a great day. Diego, can we get a rant on the New York Knicks winning the trade deadline? I have to give credit where credit is due. The New York Knicks have been a laughingstock across the NBA for multiple decades now, and I feel like this is the first season that Knicks fans have a legitimate reason to be bragging about their squad, and that was prior to today's trades. Love the Bojan Bogdanovic trade, acquiring him from the Detroit Pistons. The New York Knicks absolutely won the trade deadline today. I think there were some other teams that battled for second place, but no one did more to help their chances of actually contending for a title than the New York Knicks. Look out, everybody, because before, maybe you thought the Knicks could make it past one round, maybe two of the NBA playoffs. Don't be surprised right now if they are an Eastern Conference Finals squad. Another interesting note coming out of the trade deadline, Patrick Beverley traded from the 76ers to the Milwaukee Bucks, two teams that are competing in the Eastern Conference to try to get that number 2 seed as of right now. And what's interesting is when those two teams make a trade, who ended up winning? The team that got rid of the guy or the team that acquires him? I certainly think Doc Rivers knows that this Milwaukee Bucks team needs help on defense. Pat Bev is going to help with that. How about the mojo and the energy and the vibe of that locker room, though? Pat Bev and Dame Lillard, they have issues in the past. I'm sure they're going to try and squash that right away. But certainly a lot of reasons to be interested in what happened today in the trade deadline. A few Woj bombs went down. The OG big fella, how did the Lakers trade AD and Man, the OG big fella must be a relative of Al Horford. By the way, did you see Al Horford's stat line last night? Phenomenal game for the old man who continues to play well. Al Horford, winner his entire career, whether it was in college or the pros. Hopefully he can go far into the playoffs with these Celtics. Jorge, Mavs got much better. Gafford and PJ. Yeah, big upgrades. I agree with you. I'm interested to know, though, just still, to me, the issue with the Mavericks is, can Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving continue to play well? Is that a duo that can go far in the playoffs? I like the pieces they put around them, but still have my questions. Jay Frosty, love Randall. I got you. Understand that. Callum, Kings sold the parlay yesterday. Kings buried us on the parlay. We were doing so well. We did take the over in that Kings-Pistons game, so there were a few of those round-robin parlays that I cashed on. This is one of the reasons I tell you guys, consider round robins. When you do a straight-up parlay, you miss one, it goes bust. However, if you do a round robin and you miss one, you're still going to cash on a number of those groupings that come together. Again, for those that are new to it, what's a round robin? Say you place 3 bets. One on Team A, one on Team B, and one on Team C, and you put those in a round robin, the DraftKings or whatever sportsbook you're using will automatically create bets for you, so it's A and B in a parlay, A and C in a parlay, B and C in a parlay, and that way if one of them misses, you can still cash some money. Hope you guys are having a wonderful night. Jacob, Wisconsin didn't hit. That one really hurt. Wisconsin did not have the kind of performance I expected last night. Really underwhelmed us. Sorry about that, Jacob. Certainly one that got away from us. It is part of the reason I'm not going to give out any college basketball picks today. I just didn't like the vibe yesterday, and I don't like the schedule today. That said, we have a lot of NBA to give out, and we're going to give out our first player prop bet of the day right now. We've hit 1,000 likes, so our first NBA player prop bet of the Thursday show comes at you right now. And the first one is going to be Miles Turner over 14.5 points. Miles Turner over 14.5 points. Really like this play tonight. Pacers host the Warriors. Feel like it's a great matchup. They don't really have good center defense in that Warriors lineup. So Miles Turner over 14.5 points feels like a very good play. We will give out an NBA game pick when we get to 2,000 likes. Until then, ask questions. Feel free to bring up topics that you want us to rant about. Is there something going on in the sports world that you care about? Feel free to join the show. If you're watching on TikTok, come on as a guest. We love talking to you guys every single day. Cruel Finisher. We've been doing pretty well in our NBA game picks. That's true. How about the Magic on the money line tonight? Magic on the money line. Well, we haven't quite gotten to 2,000 likes just yet, but I am willing to give this one out right now. I do like the Magic on the money line. I will put that one up on my big board. There you go, everybody. The Magic are playing the San Antonio Spurs tonight. I'm going to double down on this game. I'll also give you a side on the Spurs. I'll take Spurs plus 15.5. We got very lucky last night. I gave out during the show Spurs plus 12.5. They lost by 12. That's why you buy the hook. That 0.5 being in your favor certainly goes a long way. Jorge, up 31 units the last 2 days thanks to the picks. Very happy to hear it, Jorge, but I know you do your research as well. This is why I'm here. I'm here to give you guidance, confirm some things you think, maybe have you think about things a little bit differently than maybe you would otherwise, but we're here to help you guys out. And of course, we're here to talk sports with you. So if you're a sports fan out there that has a topic you guys want to cover, feel free, throw it up on the comment section, or of course, just join the conversation if you're watching on TikTok. Dante, thinking about the Bulls on the money line. Very interesting. I would recommend that. I like the Nuggets on the money line as well. If you wanted to take the Nuggets on the money line, on the money line or spread, I'd get it. But I'd also look towards the total in that game, Dante. Think about taking the under. Bruins, Oilers under 6.5. Not taking that. Golden Knights, a round robin. Actually, Dante, I don't like your hockey picks. I'm going to admit, there are a couple of reasons why I am not going. By the way, it's Bruins and Canucks tonight. Just make sure you're on top of that. But there are a couple of NHL games that I like, but not too many of them. I'll give out my NHL picks in a minute. But overall, this is a night in which I feel like the NBA is the best area to bet. College basketball has some tricky matchups. The NHL, it's okay. I'll give out a few of those picks. In fact, when we hit 2,000 likes, I'll give out an NHL pick. Webcam Mike, how are you doing? Ivan, I'm doing wonderful. Every time I get to talk sports with you guys, I just love doing it. Love the live. Appreciate you, Ivan. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Steven, Avalanche on the money line. Not a bet I'm taking, actually. I looked at the trends, looked at the data. Not a bet I'm giving. Again, when we hit 2,000 likes, I'll give out an NHL pick. We have 3 NHL game picks that I'll be giving out throughout the show. We have a lot of NBA to give out. We're going to avoid college basketball for the most part. Just don't like the slate as I mentioned. Perfect example, Iowa and Penn State. Which way are you going to go on that one? I saw it. I saw some of the others. Just not crazy about it. Ivan, we'll get to our best plays in just a bit. If you guys want my picks right away, DM me on Instagram or go over to the SHARPZ app. We give out our picks one by one throughout the course of the show. If you don't want to wait for those individual picks to come out, just go over to the SHARPZ app. Or if you're not on SHARPZ already, DM me on Instagram. I give away all of my picks for free every single day. They're never behind a paywall. You never have to put up money to get them. Just DM me on Instagram. Link, referral code will come your way. And that way you can check out all of my picks. Cruel finisher. I love where your head's at on that bet. We have hit 2,000 likes, so let's give out an NHL game pick for everybody. NHL game pick, I'm taking the Panthers on the money line tonight. Panthers on the money line is our first NHL game pick that we've given out of the night. We have 2 more of those. We also have a bunch of NBA game picks and player prop bets to give out. At 3,000 likes, NBA player prop bet comes your way, so don't forget to tap that screen if you're watching over on TikTok. If there are things that you want us to research, game picks, total plays, player prop bets, you can put those in the chat as well. We use the research tool Outlier that allows us to quickly look up all of these bets every single day, look at the trends, the matchups, some of the variables that give us a good indication of which way to bet. So if you're looking for some help with your bets today, hit us up. We love talking to you guys, and of course, we love helping you guys out every day. Closing it on 3,000 likes, a player prop bet comes at that time. Now, I did want to rant about some of the things I saw across the sports world today. The first and biggest one is I have now reached my peak level of annoyance at the NFL media. I am now over the questions being asked of Patrick Mahomes and whether he's a villain, Travis Kelce and whether he cares about Taylor Swift's flight from Tokyo to Las Vegas, people saying Brock Purdy looks like Lee Harvey Oswald. I have now reached a point, it happens every Super Bowl, where the 2 weeks finally hits the point where I'm like, let's just play some frickin' football. I have reached that. It happened on a Thursday. Usually it happens a little bit earlier in the week, but I'm now at that point that's like, let's put on some helmets and just run into each other, because I am over the questions by the media. I'm ready to play some football. Rowan, what happens to Kadarius Toney this offseason? Great question. Personally, I think the Chiefs need to move on from him. I think Kadarius Toney would probably love to stay with the Chiefs, given that's probably the best team that can utilize his skill set. They obviously have the best quarterback in the league. But to me, I feel like Toney needs a new start. Where? Good question. There are a number of teams that could use speed. That said, speed ain't his problem. It's all about those hands. But I feel like for the Chiefs, they need to move on. For Kadarius Toney, I've been doing everything I could to kiss up to the Chiefs front office to try to own a spot on that roster next year, because if Kadarius Toney is going to resurrect his career, I can't think of a better place than Kansas City, but I don't know why the Chiefs would want him at this point. He simply has underperformed. Jorge, rate the Buddy Hield trade. Buddy Hield traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. Here's what I'll say about that. Desperately needed by the 76ers. They need three-point shooting around Joel Embiid when he comes back. They need someone else who can get a bucket other than Tyrese Maxey while Embiid is out. Tobias Harris, he can get it sometimes. Other times, he can be ice cold. The one thing you know about Buddy Hield is he's never afraid to shoot, especially from three-point range. So I love the move. Frankly, overall, I think the 76ers did a good job setting themselves up for this run towards the playoffs. My only question is, did they do enough to compete with the Boston Celtics? Probably not. And now the strangest question of them all, did the 76ers do enough to compete with the New York Knicks? Probably not there as well. I think they will sign Kyle Lowry once he's bought out of his current contract. You could see him in Philadelphia. Makes a lot of sense with Nick Nurse there. But overall, I think the 76ers got better. I don't think they got enough, got better enough compared to some of the other teams in the Eastern Conference. Lucas, does Fields stay in Chicago? Nope. Fields is going to get traded. It is pretty much being leaked at this point in so many ways that Justin Fields is going to be traded. And the reason we know that is it's gotten out there that the Bears think they can get not just an early second-round pick, but potentially a first-round pick for Justin Fields. That kind of information wouldn't be out there if they weren't shopping him and thus trying to raise the price and raise the frenzy around him to try to increase the draft capital they can get from a trade. it's going to be Caleb Williams in Chicago. I know some people are gaga about Drake May. I know that Jaden Daniels just won the Heisman. It is going to be Caleb Williams in Chicago, and Justin Fields is going to get traded. I mentioned it before. I'll say it again. Atlanta is the best fit for him. That's where I think he should go. Whether the Falcons pony up the dough or draft capital to get him is a slightly different story. One rumor coming out of the NFL draft world that we could touch on, J.J. McCarthy is getting hyped up. According to a report right now, or according to a few GMs, while the public is very high on Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr., NFL GMs seem to be very high on J.J. McCarthy, with many believing he's going to be the 4th quarterback drafted in this year's class, and he could go in the first round. Shocking to me. I'm not nearly as high on J.J. McCarthy as others. If he was that talented, wouldn't Harbaugh have showcased it at Michigan? I think J.J. McCarthy was a great player for that system in a college world, but frankly, in the NFL, I just don't see it. I'm more than happy to be wrong on this, but interesting that the rumors are that Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. will probably be day 2 draft picks. Meanwhile, J.J. McCarthy might sneak into that first-round night. Bizarre, didn't expect it, but certainly a lot of things to discuss over the next few weeks and months. Now, we have 2 picks to give out. We've hit almost 5,000 likes, everybody, so we're going to give out a bunch of picks right now. First, let's give out another player prop bet for everybody. Next player prop bet we're going to give out is Kevin Durant over 24.5 points. Kevin Durant over 24.5 points. Suns playing the Jazz tonight. I saw a really interesting trend. I'm gonna reference this as I put up another pick right now. So the Utah Jazz in their last 16 games against the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix have gone 8-8. However, when they have been a road underdog, they are 0-6. You know what that means? I am taking the Suns on the money line. Suns on the money line is the pick I'm giving out. In fact, I'm not just going to put it up here on my board. I am going to make that our SHARPZ play of the day. Giving it out early to everybody, but it is my favorite bet of the day. I know the Jazz have been hot, but I am taking the Phoenix Suns on the money line as my SHARPZ play of the day. That's my favorite bet of the day, regardless of the sport, regardless of the type of bet. Favorite bet of the day, highest level of confidence on that one. I have the Suns on the money line. We owe you guys another pick because we've hit 5,000 likes. Let's go to the NHL. Let's give out another NHL pick. I'm taking the Calgary Flames plus 1.5. So 3 picks we just gave out. Suns on the money line. Kevin Durant over 24.5 points. Calgary Flames plus 1.5. If you guys have questions, get them in. That's what we're here for. Lucas, I think it makes a lot of sense. That offense has some talent, but they need a legitimate starting quarterback. I also think Justin Fields on that fast track inside the dome in Atlanta could be a perfect fit with Bijan Robinson, Drake London. I think with one trade, getting Justin Fields, the Atlanta Falcons can all of a sudden become a contender in the NFC South, because right now they're really only contending with a Derek Carr Saints team, a Baker Mayfield-led Bucs team. If Justin Fields continues to develop, if you put him in Atlanta, I absolutely could see the Falcons being a playoff contender, at least for a wild card at worst. I absolutely think they could win that division. Will Hayes, what's good? Hope you're having a great day, buddy. Always nice to see a familiar face in the chat. Leon, what about the Pacers? I do not like the Pacers on the money line tonight. Not what I'm going to be going with. If I had to give out a pick for that game, I'll put it up on my board to say thank you guys for watching. I am taking the Warriors at plus 9.5. I think I saw the Warriors on the spread is originally set at plus 6. To get the Warriors at plus 9.5 at pretty good odds. I love that right now. Let me show it to you on our screen if you're watching over on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. Golden State is now 5.5. That said, the public is heavy on the Pacers. The sharp money is on the Pacers money line. That's fine. What's interesting is they're also on the Pacers to cover. Again, I like the Golden State Warriors at a plus 9.5. That's where I'm taking it. I can get it at minus 194. The Warriors have covered that spread 9 out of their last 10 games. The Pacers have only covered it 2 out of their last 10. So you could get Warriors plus 9.5 at minus 194. Feels like a very good bet to make, just given the fact that these two teams have either had really good success or bad success covering that spread. We'll continue to give out picks, and of course, if you have questions, if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, get those questions in. More than happy to answer those. Pat Thomas, you think the Rams draft a quarterback? I think it would be very forward thinking of this Rams team to draft a quarterback. It would be really smart. Do I think they do it? No, I don't think they do. In part because I think this Rams team continues to believe they're only a few pieces away from actually contending in the NFC. Given what we saw this year, that offense is dynamic. They need a few pieces on defense, and they absolutely could make a run, maybe not to a Super Bowl, but certainly into a second round of the playoffs. Do I think they draft Matthew Stafford's replacement? Again, it'd be smart. Bo Nix would make a lot of sense there. I also think Spencer Rattler would make sense there. But overall, I just don't believe they'll probably draft a quarterback unless it's, again, like, someone who falls in the draft to a position that is just a nice value pick, but I don't think is actually an heir apparent to Matthew Stafford. Nate, sup, man? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well, Nate. Great to have you with us back on the show. You like the Bees at home tonight. Jeremy, I'm not taking the Bees at home. Kind of a rough set of trends there, so I didn't touch that Bruins-Canucks game. Just didn't see any trends that really lead me to believe it's a good play. Jorge has clearly been looking at my picks on the SHARPZ app because John Collins is a player prop bet that I like tonight. Let's put this one up on the board as well. I took John Collins over 12.5 points. If you guys want to see every bet that I make every day for free, DM me on Instagram. My handle is ButtFumbleSports, the name of our company. DM me on Instagram. You get every pick I make every single day for free. You don't have to pay. They're never hidden. They're never deleted. They're up there so you can see the picks that I make based on the research I do every single day. I look at trends, data, analytics, matchups, everything to try to give you guys the best bets every day. You can follow them, you can fade them, that's up to you. But if you look at my picks every day, you'll know at least what the trends are leaning to. Do the trends always hit? Of course not. But we hit at about a 65-68% clip on individual bets. And right now on all of our bets overall across the board, we're hitting on 57% of our bets, including round robins and parlays. So doing a good job there. If you guys have questions, let's hear it. Jorge, Ben Simmons today. Lots of people like him. Do they like him? I don't know. Let's take a quick look at it to see if Ben Simmons is someone we want to put some money on. I have to believe Ben Simmons isn't exactly the first person I'm running to my sports book to bet on. Let's look at points, rebounds, and assists to see if there's a matchup that we really, really like. He comes in as a point guard. There isn't. So the Cleveland Cavaliers are the 9th best defense against point guards in points allowed, 8th best in rebounds allowed to point guards, and they are the best defense in the NBA at preventing assists by point guards. So even though Ben Simmons has gone over his points, rebounds, and assist total in 8 of the last 10 games, I'm not touching Ben Simmons. I am not about him at all, and it really is about the matchup. Clearly, he could overperform expectations, but the matchup is a very tough one for him. Josh, I could definitely see the Rams drafting Rattler. He'll definitely be around day 3. I don't think so. I think Spencer Rattler is going to work his way up into a day 2 draft pick. I could see him being drafted late in the 2nd round, early in the 3rd round. I think Spencer Rattler right now is the biggest wild card of this draft when it comes to quarterbacks. He was so hyped out of high school. He was hyped early in college. He transferred, obviously, but he's got a lot of talent, and he impressed people at the Senior Bowl during the practices. He was the MVP during the game as well. Don't be surprised if he goes to the Combine in Indianapolis and has a lot of scouts buzzing. If I were to make a prediction right now, Spencer Rattler will be a day 2 pick, not a day 3 pick. I don't see him making it to that 4th round. I see him being drafted in the late 2nd or early 3rd round. Anthony, Mavs a solid play today. It's a tricky one for me. So I did put up on my big board Mavericks on the money line, Knicks +8, but I put a question mark next to both, as in I really don't have great confidence in it. There are some trends that lean in that direction, but I don't feel good enough about it. So Anthony, I'm going to avoid this one. Leon's asking about Nurkic. What do we think about Nurkic on rebounds? Let's go take a look at that one really quick. Again, using the Outlier app, so I can look up all of your bets or all of your questions very quick. First of all, the implied probability is working against Nurkic, something to keep note of. When it comes to the matchup, he has a terrible matchup tonight. The Utah Jazz are the 5th best defense at getting rebounds against centers. So, frankly, it's a bad matchup. If I had to go in any direction, I might take the under 10.5. If you want to lift the ceiling on it a little and take under 11.5, I get it. He's gone under 11.5 in 7 of his last 10 games. If we bump it out to 20, he's gone under 11.5 in 11 of his last 20 games. Head-to-head against the Utah Jazz, he's only gone over that total once in their last 3 meetings, and that was in Utah. So I tend to say I'm not big on this one. I would say if I went Nurkic, I would go under the total. I'd probably buy it up just to make sure I don't bump my head on that ceiling. Lauren, is Shea and Clay for Luka a good trade to do in fantasy? If it's in fantasy, it'd be interesting because I think Shea Gilgeous-Alexander will continue to put up big points. But right now, I wouldn't move on from Luka. I think Luka is in for a very big second half of the season. So if I were in fantasy basketball, I'd hold on to Luka. If you did make the trade and could acquire Luka, I'd get it. I love Shea. Can he sustain this level of success the rest of the season? I don't think at the same rate that Luka Doncic can. Crack stats. I wouldn't bet Ben Simmons in a YMCA game. Oh, I probably would. A YMCA game I'll do. An NBA game, not so much. Hope you guys are loving the content and loving the show. If you get good entertainment out of it, good information out of it, or you just like watching the show every day, make sure you hit the follow button. And if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, make sure you subscribe. Also, for those watching on TikTok, you should subscribe as well. We are going to do a subscriber-only show tonight, all on the NFL Super Bowl player prop bets. So if you need help with your Super Bowl player prop bets, we will be live exclusively on TikTok tonight, exclusively for subscribers, answering your questions, putting together some research, and helping you find the best player prop bets for the big game this Sunday. Lauren, should I get Luka? Yes, I would. I actually think it's a trade worth making. I don't know about the future of Klay Thompson. Do I think he'll play better up down the stretch than he has over the last few weeks? Maybe, but I still think Luka's the guy I'd rather own in fantasy basketball. For all those watching, feel free to get your questions in. We're going to be on as long as you guys need us to because we want you guys to cash in, win some money, and obviously get the most out of your sports viewing experience tonight. When we get to 6,000 likes, we will do another NBA game pick. At 6,000 likes, another NBA game pick. At 7,000 likes, we'll do another NBA player prop bet. Who do I think is winning the Super Bowl? Lauren, here are the Super Bowl game picks that I've given out all week long. I've been very consistent on this, and I will remain consistent. I am taking the Chiefs plus 4.5. Chiefs on the spread, Chiefs plus 4.5. I am also, by the way, I don't think I'm muted, yes. I think you're having difficulty there. That said, I would take Chiefs plus 4.5. I would take the 49ers on the money line, and I would take Chiefs 49ers under 50.5. So the 3 game picks I'm taking for the Super Bowl, Chiefs plus 4.5, 49ers on the money line, and Chiefs 49ers under 50.5. Those are the 3 game picks I'm taking. Why am I taking the Chiefs on the spread? Because everyone likes Patrick Mahomes, and I do as well. Why am I taking the 49ers on the money line? Because too many people right now like the Chiefs on the money line. Too many people are betting on Kansas City. So much public money is coming down on Kansas City. I would rather be on the side of the sports books. I'd rather be on the side of Vegas than on the side of the public. I'll fade the public on this one, and I'm riding with the 49ers to win the Super Bowl. Chiefs 49ers under 50.5. ES, you're the only ones who having that issue, buddy, so you're going to have to check out your audio on your side. Lauren, what do you think about Hayward getting traded to the Thunder? I think the Thunder made an interesting move to try to shore up some of their offense, but here's one of the issues that I have with the trade. Fun fact, I put it out on my Instagram. Do you know there isn't one player on the current Thunder roster that was in the NBA the last time that Gordon Hayward was an All-Star? Do I really think this move catapults the Thunder into that number 1 spot in the Western Conference? I don't. I think it's an interesting move. If Gordon Hayward can contribute anything, I think it's worth it. But overall, I think it's more big name, small splash than it is big names, big splash. So that's where I'm a little hesitant about getting excited about Gordon Hayward in Oklahoma City. Here's what I will say about the Thunder. They own a ton of draft picks over the next few years. If I could buy stock in any team across the sports world, the Oklahoma City Thunder would absolutely be at the top of the list. So much young talent to still come with that draft capital. But Gordon Hayward doesn't tip the scales for me. I know they're one of the few Western Conference teams to really make a move, but overall, it wasn't as big a move as it could have been a few years ago because Gordon Hayward isn't the same player that he was a few years ago. Josh, go Suns go. I love the moves they made. I actually do like what the Suns did, and the reason is the Suns have so little cap space to maneuver. They didn't have that much money. They didn't have that many resources, and they still found a way to get slightly better. So I actually do give the Suns a lot of credit for making whatever moves they could to increase that bench and depth around KD, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker. Do I think the Suns catapult themselves again into that top 2, top 3 in the Western Conference? I don't. If there's any team right now that I think has established itself as the best team in the West, it's the Clippers. I still think the Nuggets are probably number 2. I don't trust the Timberwolves just because I've seen Cat Williams. I've seen Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert in playoff series before. So I tend to believe that the Western Conference is really right now about the Clippers and the Nuggets. But OKC and the Suns certainly made some moves today to increase their chances of being in that second round, third round as we get into the playoffs. Jorge is asking about LeBron James on rebounds. Don't know how I feel about it. I did my research early on it and didn't stand out to me. We'll look at it now. The over-under is set at 6.5 where I see it. Really good implied probability there. However, here's the reason I'm not crazy about it. The Denver Nuggets are the third best defense in the NBA against small forwards when it comes to rebounds. So personally, I'm just not as big on LeBron James on the rebounds. I know this has been a very consistent trend. He has hit it in 7 of his last 8 games against the Nuggets. If you want to take it for that reason, Jorge, I get it. But I'm basing it on the matchup this season, not about their matchups last year. A lot of these games came in the postseason last season. I'm not gonna jump at LeBron James over on rebounds. If you want to, I won't talk you off the ledge, but it's not one that I'm gonna put up on my big board. We've hit 6,000 likes. We've now hit 7,000 likes. I owe you guys some picks. Let's give out a few more NBA game picks. I'll give out one NBA game pick, one player prop bet, and one NHL pick right now. Okay? Let's give out another NBA game pick for you guys. I am taking the Mavericks and the Knicks, and I'm gonna go under 235. Mavericks and Knicks under 235 points. That's a bet I really like today. Let's go to an NBA player prop bet right now. Next NBA player prop bet I'm taking Donovan Mitchell over 3.5 rebounds. That's Donovan Mitchell over 3.5 rebounds. Let's get to an NHL game pick for you. I'm taking the Winnipeg Jets plus 1.5. That is an alternative line, but I like them more on the cover than I do on the money line or on the spread. Hope you guys are loving the show. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We are live for a subscriber-only show later tonight. So if you guys need help with your Super Bowl player prop bets, make sure you subscribe on TikTok because we will do a subscriber-only show tonight. How much sports you talk about? Flying Dom, I talk sports all day, every day, as much as I can. I've worked at ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports. I've been a producer for Jim Rome. My life has been about talking sports as long as I have been on this earth, and I love doing it with you guys every day. While my background is in creating sports content and working in the programming departments of some of these companies, I've produced fantasy football shows, fantasy baseball shows, sports betting shows, so my knowledge of this stuff is legitimate. I know there's some folks out there who are on TikTok and social media who are just average Joes who are just doing this stuff. I have been in this world now for over a decade and a half. It's something I love to do, and that's why I created Butt Fumble Sports, because I know there are a lot of real sports fans out there right now who don't get the kind of content and engagement that they want. They get a lot of people talking to them, not a lot of people talking with them. I hope you guys feel like you have a friend, a confidant, a true advisor and guide, a caddy as you go down the 18 holes of your sports betting day or your sports experience every day. Hopefully I can give you a little bit of insight, a little bit of knowledge. Hopefully I can entertain you, but we talk as many sports as we can. I will let you guys know which sports I bet on, though. There's some sports I don't bet on. I don't know UFC at all. Do I have a friend who's very knowledgeable about it, and I let you guys know his picks? Absolutely. But I'll let you know where I feel really confident about putting my knowledge to use and where I tend to avoid. I don't know golf as well as people. I don't know tennis as well as people. I don't know UFC. I know NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, college basketball, college football, those are definitely my strike zones. But if there's a sport you want more knowledge on that I don't have, we'll do our best to help you out. Callum, you give good picks every day. Very thankful. All got free. Callum, we do our best, and they are always free. Every single day. We never put them behind a paywall. We never ask for your money. If you want to support the show with gifts or donations, that's up to you. We're always grateful for it, but we're never going to make that a priority. We're never going to make that a standard of getting out picks. Why? Because you guys work hard. You guys have day jobs or you're students. You guys are looking for the best bets every day, but you don't have the opportunity to put in the research, and I don't know why you should put your hard-earned money towards some joker who doesn't really know what they're talking about. Put your money towards bets, and if we give you good picks and you cash on them, maybe you throw something our way to say thank you. But other than that, we give out our picks for free every single day. They're on the SHARPZ app. SHARPZ is a social media app for sports bettors. It's like a bulletin board for sports bettors. We post our bets so everyone can see them. A lot of transparency. You can comment on them. You can follow them. And maybe even better, I put out parlays for you guys every day on the SHARPZ app. You can literally hit a button that automatically creates that bet in the sports book that you prefer. And that way, you don't have to go through the process putting 8 picks together individually. It automatically does the work for you. Makes it really easy for you guys to tail some of my favorite parlays every day. Make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. And if you want all of my bets every day, DM me on Instagram. Butt Sports on Instagram. Make sure you hit me up. Kevin Miller over on YouTube says, I think I speak for most. You are one of the best. I don't watch anyone else. Thank you for all you do. Kevin Miller, I am honored. I am always flattered and honored that you guys take time out of your day to watch me talk sports. I do not take that honor lightly. That's why I work as hard as I do and give you guys these picks for free, because I know you guys are just people looking for the best opportunities out there. Jorge, thank you so much. Callum, I just saw that breaking news. OG Anunoby is going to be out 3 weeks. So as good as the trade deadline went for the Knicks, they do get some bad news on this Thursday, as OG Anunoby is not going to be in their lineup for the next 3 weeks. But do I think that's devastating? I actually don't, in part because the Knicks are building for the postseason. For the first time in decades, I don't think the Knicks are building to try to punch their way into the postseason. I think they know they're going to make it. It's about having the best team, the best roster, and having everybody healthy for the moment the postseason starts. So I actually feel like sitting OG Anunoby, getting him fully healthy, and getting him ready for a playoff run is exactly what the Knicks need to do. You can't win a title in February and March, but you can absolutely make a push for it in April, May, and June. So the New York Knicks, they made good trades, and I actually think the OG Anunoby news, while upsetting at the same time, probably is good for them to get everybody healthy, everybody right, and get them ready for the postseason. Lauren, what do you think about the trades the Celtics made? I love the Tillman trade. I love the idea of getting Xavier Tillman. They just added another great defensive player, and I actually think that's one of the areas the Celtics could improve. They've got plenty of offense. What they need to continue to get is good defensive players. They got one. I love what they did. I think the Boston Celtics are the most complete roster in the NBA, regardless of the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference. It's not about depth, though. It's not about star power. Frankly, it's about balls. It's about the Celtics' mental toughness, their willingness to literally fight their way to an NBA title. Do I love Jason Tatum as a talent? Absolutely. Do I still think he can be soft? He complains about foul calls, way too often. And we saw last year in the postseason, frankly, we've seen it a couple times, that Jason Tatum complaining about not getting calls in the postseason has absolutely cost him in games. I think the Celtics need to build and develop more mental toughness, and one of the ways you can do that is with good defense. When you are the better defensive team, I think your mindset hardens. I think you just become tougher, more fierce. That is the one thing keeping the Celtics from greatness. If the Celtics had a killer mindset, I think they would be entering a dynasty run. They could win 2, 3 titles over the next 5 or 6 years. But if the Celtics don't develop that mental toughness, do I think they could squander this time with 2 superstars like Brown and Tatum? Absolutely. I also think they have a bad head coach. I think Joe Mazzulla isn't just not great. I think he's bad. I don't like the way he coaches. I don't like how he uses analytics. He wants his team to take way too many three-pointers. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. And when you have that much talent on your roster, Do you really need to die by the sword? Why can't you just win by 1,000 paper cuts? I don't know why Joe Mazzulla insists on being that guy, but he continues to as a head coach, and it bothers the bejesus out of me. CKD, I love the trade by the 76ers for Buddy Hield as well. They needed three-point shooting. They needed another scorer. I really like the move. By the way, I really like it for when Joel Embiid comes back. You have a great pick and roll with Maxey and Embiid, and the fact you can throw the ball to Embiid in the post and have Buddy Hield out on the three-point line, that in and out game, I think that would work really, really well. Love the trade by the 76ers. Ivan's asking about Michael Porter Jr. on points. Looks like a couple people are asking about Michael Porter Jr. So let's take a look at Michael Porter Jr. We're going to look at points, rebounds, and assists just to get a sense of all of them at first. Michael Porter Jr., by the way, big game out in Los Angeles tonight. We'll talk about this in a little bit, but the Nuggets and Lakers game, as big as it is in terms of star power and two teams with a history of playing each other in last year's postseason, the big news out of this night is going to be Kobe Bryant's statue is going to be revealed in LA in front of the Staples Center. I'm going to continue to call it the Staples Center. Crypto.com Arena to those who were born this past year. But that said, I'm really excited to see what the statue looks like, what pose they use. I've thought about it a lot. I feel like the one where he's grabbing his jersey is the best one. But at the same time, when he's up on the stands and he does the 5 titles, there's so many Kobe moments, so many poses they could see him in. But it is truly an end of an era. Mamba out tonight, as we will see him in front of the Staples Center as a statue. So Michael Porter Jr., just to get back to that, looking at his over-under on points, rebounds, and assists, certainly don't like that. But we're going to look at the matchup he has against the Los Angeles Lakers. I do like it on points. Points is the only matchup I like. Head-to-head against the Lakers, he has gone over his point total, over 13.5 in 4 of his last 6 games. 5 of his last 7 games against the Lakers. Over his last 20 games, he's gone over this total only half the time. Do I love it? No. I'm going to admit I don't. I would buy it down. I would take Michael Porter Jr. over 11.5. That's what I do, Ivan. I put it into some parlays. I put it into some round robins. But I just don't like Michael Porter Jr.'s consistency enough. I'll take Michael Porter Jr. over 11.5 points. I won't take him over 13.5 points. That's where I come out on that one. When we hit 8,000 likes, I'm going to give out another NBA game pick for you guys. So hit me up, tap that screen. Let's get up to 8,000 likes. Lickety split, everybody. El Pinche, Tyrese Halliburton over 11.5 rebounds and assists. Let's go help El Pinche out, and let's see if we like Tyrese Halliburton. Points, rebounds, and assists is where we'll start. The matchup against the Golden State Warriors. I like him on points. The problem is it's about the minutes. I don't know how many minutes he's going to get. It has continued to be a major point of conflict for those who want to bet on him. I just don't have a good vibe on it, El Pinche. If you look at rebounds and assists, it's set at 11.5. It's now up to 12.5. I don't like it. I wouldn't take it. That's how I come out on it. So if you want to, fine, but not where I come out. When we hit 8,000 likes, we're giving out another pick. So tap that screen, everybody. Spit is asking Chiefs or 49ers. Here are my Super Bowl picks right now. I've given them out all week long. I'm staying consistent with them. I'm not moving on them because I feel like they're the right ones. I am taking the Chiefs plus 4.5. Chiefs plus 4.5. I am taking the 49ers on the money line. 49ers to win the Super Bowl. And I am taking the under 50.5. Chiefs, 49ers, under 50.5. I think both defenses show up. I think the Chiefs have a lead and then give it up. I think the 49ers ultimately win. Chiefs plus 4.5. 49ers on the money line. Chiefs 49ers under 50.5. Lauren, what do you think about the 3-point shooting contest between Curry and Sabrina Ionescu? I absolutely love it. I actually think this is a better representation of a battle of the sexes than we saw with Billie Jean King many, many years ago. Right now, we are seeing 3-point shooting just evolve across all of basketball, and not just in the men's game, but the women's game. I look forward to Caitlin Clark going up against Steph Curry in future years, and I just think it's good for the game. It's not about dunks. It's not about size. Shooting has nothing to do with that. I absolutely love it. So Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu in a 3-point shooting contest, I'll be watching it. I know there are some people who are going to poo-poo it or going to overlook it. I think it is great for the sport of basketball because it is giving respect to women's basketball players, female basketball players, in a way they should have gotten many years ago. But I think there are a lot of, frankly, very stubborn basketball fans who just aren't willing to give that kind of credibility to some of these ladies. The talent is there. The shooting ability is there. Okay, so they can't dunk. Fine. That shouldn't be how we define talent in the game. So I'm looking forward to Curry versus Sabrina, actually. Kyle Klein, Steph will dog him. I think that he might win, but I don't think he's going to dog him. I don't think that's going to be the case. Robert's asking about Jamal Murray over 25.5 points. I'll say this. I did take Jamal Murray over 19.5 points, but this is going to be a very interesting game. And by the way, this is going to be a very interesting night across the NBA because I do think this is going to be a Kobe Bryant protege game. Jamal Murray, Devin Booker, Anthony Davis. There are a few players in the NBA that really looked up to Kobe, that had very, very close relationships with him. And I think everybody knows tonight is Kobe night. Everybody knows that tonight is the night where they are going to retire. They're going to reveal his statue. I would not be surprised if Jamal Murray goes over the 25 points that you say, Robert. I really like Jamal Murray over 19.5 points, so that's the bet I'm giving out. I'll show it to you really quick just so you can understand why I like this bet so much. Jamal Murray, and we're going to look specifically on points. It's set right now at 23.5. The over has a slightly better implied probability. Hasn't been a great trend over his last 10 games, but it's been a pretty good trend in his last few games against the Lakers. He's gone to at least 25 points in 5 of his last 6 games against the Lakers. And the Lakers, when it comes to when it comes to point guards, are the 19th best defense in the league against point guards. So I actually think Jamal Murray, 19.5 points is what I like. But Robert, I could see it going down there. Lauren, Caitlin Clark is insane. And actually, what I've been calling Caitlin Clark now for a while, I think she is women's basketball's Larry Bird. I think she is changing everything about women's basketball. And I say Larry Bird because it was the rivalry between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird that really helped men's college basketball grow and really helped the NBA ultimately grow. And I think Caitlin Clark is delivering that same kind of must-watch basketball every single night that Bird did. And I think that Bird was more important in some ways than Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson was critically important, but I think Larry Bird brought a lot of people who weren't watching basketball at the time to the table. I think Caitlin Clark's going to do the same thing. Is race a part of that? Absolutely. But I also think it's the fact that Caitlin Clark is must watch. She is just dynamic from wherever on the floor she is. I just love watching her play. Low, how do you feel about Halliburton under 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists? I like it low. It's a minutes question for me. He doesn't have the matchup isn't like great in one way or another. I think you're onto something low. I think it's a good move. El Pinche, Claxton under points, rebounds, and assists. I'll take a quick look at that one. Let's take a look at Nick Claxton. Not someone that I'm betting. I'm going to say that right away. Just not someone I'm interested in. I'm looking at it because one of our viewers is asking about it. But this isn't one that stood out while I was putting together my research today. Against the center position, not a great matchup. So the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're the 7th best defense in the league at preventing points by centers. They're 13th in rebounds, 16th in assists. So El Pinche, it's on you, buddy. I'm not taking it. If you want to take the under, fine, I get it. But I'm not betting that one. Not taking it. Ian picks. How do we get the sub-only show you mentioned yesterday for Super Bowl picks? I will do that exclusively on TikTok. Exclusive subscriber-only show tonight on TikTok. So make sure you go over to TikTok. Make sure you subscribe to our TikTok channel. We will be giving out free Super Bowl player prop bets. We are going to spend the entire show doing that. That's a special show we'll do later tonight. We have hit 8,000 likes, so I've got to give out another free pick for you guys, obviously. I'm going to take the Nuggets, I'm going to take the Lakers, and I'm going to take the under 236.5. Nuggets, Lakers, under 236.5. That's the next pick we're giving out. CKD, in your opinion, what's the best player prop bet for the Super Bowl? You got to tune into the show, CKD. You got to be a subscriber and you got to tune into the show tonight. That's where you're going to be able to find them. Lauren, who's your favorite player in the NBA right now? It's been the same player that it's been for maybe the past, I don't know, 8-10 years. I love Kawhi Leonard. When Kawhi Leonard is healthy, there is no player in the NBA I enjoy watching more. Why? I grew up in the 90s. I grew up watching Michael Jordan, and there actually is no one who reminds me more of Michael Jordan than Kawhi Leonard. Not on the freak athleticism when it comes to dunking. That would be an Anthony Edwards. But in terms of offensive dominance, defensive dominance, being an absolute dog, and being a straight-up winner. Whenever he's on the floor, he wins. Kawhi Leonard is my favorite player in the NBA. He is a silent assassin. He doesn't make it about ego. He doesn't make it about himself. I know a lot of people have tried to knock him for resting or sitting or his knee problems or whatever, but when Kawhi Leonard is healthy, I challenge anybody to name a better player on both sides of the floor than Kawhi Leonard. I think he should be in the MVP conversation because the Clippers would not be performing as well as they are if Kawhi Leonard was not having this good a season. Paul George is doing okay. James Harden's outperforming expectations. Kawhi Leonard is by far the best player on that team. He is proving to me once again that when healthy, he is as good as anybody in the association. Ian Pix is asking about Lauri Markkanen over on points. Let's take a quick look on Markkanen. And we'll go look over on points. The total right now is set at 24.5. It shifted down actually to 23.5. There's been some line movement on it. If I were to take anything, it would be 19.5 points is probably where I take this one. This is a very good play, actually. Lauri Markkanen over 19.5 points. You could get it on DraftKings at -270, FanDuel at -280. Again, some of you guys may not like those odds. I totally understand. Make it a two-leg parlay. Put it with something else that you feel good about. I feel like it's a really good bet. I'm actually going to put this one up on my big board. It is not one that I had prior to the show, so I put these asterisks next to it so you know that it's one that I'm just putting out now. But that's Lauri Markkanen over 19.5 points. I do think that's a good play. The Suns are the 24th ranked defense at points allowed to power forwards. I love the opportunity that in that matchup. And he's also gone over this point total in 4 of his last 6 games against the Phoenix Suns. The only issue with that is both of the times he didn't hit the over, it came in games in Phoenix. They're obviously in Phoenix tonight. That's the only reason I'd be a bit concerned about this one, but I do put it up on my big board. Let me give out another pick for you guys to say thank you for all of you guys watching the show. I am also taking the Bulls on the money line, everybody. Bulls on the money line. Interesting note, the Bulls have not made a trade at the deadline in 3 years. So for all those Chicago fans, I hope you're excited about the new specs for the White Sox Stadium. But your Chicago Bulls, they did nothing today to improve their chances. A bit surprised by that. I do like the Bulls on the money line tonight, though. Bulls money line, another pick we're giving out. Lauren, what do you think about Dame? A lot of people are saying he's washed. Dame Lillard's not washed from an offensive standpoint. Not at all. Dame Lillard can still go out there and have a 30-point game any given night. Do I think Dame Lillard is vulnerable on the defensive side of the ball? Hell yeah. Do I think the reason that the Bucks just got Pat Bev is because Dame Lillard is a defensive liability? Hell yeah. Look, Drew Holiday fit the Bucks perfectly. He was a leader, he was a distributor, he could knock down some shots, but he was a great defensive player. Dame Lillard is not that. And they just hired Doc because the Bucks need to be better on defense. It's why they got Pat Bev. I don't think Dame Lillard is washed, but defensively, do I think that almost any team can take advantage of him being on the floor? Yes, I do. Ivan, Anthony Edwards over 20 points. You know it, dog. I love that. In fact, I'm going to give out Anthony Edwards over 24.5 points. I think Anthony Edwards has a very big night tonight. I'm taking Anthony Edwards over 24.5 points. That's another player prop bet that I'm taking. Anthony, what would you suggest for 2 solid games, spread and money line? I've put out a couple so far. Let me repeat all the bets that I've given out so far during the show. My SHARPZ play of the day, my favorite bet of the day, regardless of the sport, regardless of the type of bet, regardless of the odds, my favorite bet of the day is Suns on the money line. Phoenix Suns on the money line is my favorite bet of the day based on the trends and research I did earlier today. All other NBA game picks that I like tonight, Magic on the money line, Spurs plus 15.5, Warriors plus 9.5, Mavericks and Knicks under 235, Nuggets, Lakers under 236.5, and the Bulls on the money line. Those are the NBA picks I've given out. Let's take a look at the player prop bets I've given out. So far, the NBA player prop bets I've given out during the show are Miles Turner, over 14.5 points. Kevin Durant, over 24.5 points. John Collins, over 12.5 points. Donovan Mitchell, over 3.5 rebounds. Jamal Murray, over 19.5 points. We did an in-show bet with Lauri Markkanen, over 19.5 points. And we are also taking Anthony Edwards, over 24.5 points. We have 3 NHL picks for tonight. They are the Panthers on the money line, the Flames plus 1.5, and the Jets plus 1.5. And again, for all of those that have missed it, I've given it out throughout the week. I'll give it out again tonight. For the Super Bowl, I am taking the Chiefs plus 4.5. 49ers on the money line and Chiefs 49ers under 50.5. We will do a subscriber-only show on TikTok later tonight. So if you guys want help with your Super Bowl player prop bets, we are doing a show exclusively for subscribers on TikTok later tonight where we will focus only on Super Bowl player prop bets. So if you have player prop bets that you want checked or you want to see the picks that I really like, make sure you join us later tonight. But you got to be a subscriber-only show. Tony, if you missed any of our picks, you can DM me on Instagram. I give out all of my picks for free. All of my picks for free every single day. So Anthony, Tony, don't worry. Every bet I make is available for free. They're never behind a paywall. They're never hidden. They're never deleted. I give them out every single day. All you have to do is DM me on Instagram. Butt Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram. I'll hook you up with a link and a referral code for the SHARPZ app. You get every pick, every bet, every day for free. I will never, ever, ever charge you for a bet. That is a promise. Why? Because I've been in your shoes before. I just want to enjoy sports. Why do I have to pay some joker to give me 1 bet, 2 bets? Screw that. I give out my picks for free because I'm just like you, and I want you guys to be on team cashing tickets. I want you to win money tonight, and that's why we give out every single bet that we make every single day for free. Brian, one thing you should note, a lot of you guys may not like some of the bets I make because you'll go, the odds aren't favorable. It's minus 550. It's minus 1,000. My job is to tell you the best bets. If you don't want to take it at minus 550, you don't have to. If you want to put it into a parlay to bring those odds from minus 550 to minus 200, minus 150, even money, you can do so. I'm not going to not take a bet because it's got ridiculously bad odds. I'll just find a way to parlay that into better odds. But I'm not going to tell you not to take a bet, or I'm not going to say I'm not going to give out magic on the money line because it's minus 550. Brian, you don't like it, you can look somewhere else, you can watch somewhere else, but my job is to give you bets that I think are going to win. It's up to you to decide whether you want to bet them, you want to put them into parlays, or you want to fade them. That's your job. My job's to do the research and give you guys some good picks. Ian, I do like Kobe White over 4.5 assists. I think that's a good play as well. Kobe White over 4.5 assists feels like a very good play. One other bet that I want to give out before we wrap up our show, actually, I have a bunch of picks that I like. I really like Nikola Jokic tonight. I think Nikola Jokic has a very big game. I like him over 10.5 rebounds. I also would take Nikola Jokic on assists. Nikola Jokic over 6.5 assists. I think he's going to have a very big game. I've played him in a number of different spots on the Rival Fantasy app. If you guys are looking for some good action tonight and a way to take this research that we do every day and put it to good use, check out Rival Fantasy. Rival Fantasy has these challenges every single night. They're really easy to play. I think they're even easier to win if you ask me. You pick between 2 players who will have more fantasy points. If you don't like them, you can skip them. You can find ones that you're about. But Rival Fantasy, a great way to take the research that we give out every night and put some money behind it and get some good money back. Hope you guys are loving the content, loving the show. Jorge, 3-man player prop bet parlay. I've given out some of my favorite bets tonight. I really like Durant over on points. I really like Miles Turner over on points. I like Pascal Siakam. This is one I like. Pascal Siakam over 3.5 assists. That's another player prop bet that I like as well. I also am very big on Donovan Mitchell over 3.5 rebounds. Those are a few, but if I give you a pick, I have good faith in it, so you shouldn't have to worry. These are picks that I like. It's up to you to pick which ones you want to go with. That said, that's going to be our show. That was one fast hour, everybody. I felt like that flew by. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. Make sure, guys, that you guys join us tonight. TikTok Live, subscriber-only show. We'll probably do it around 9:30, 10 o'clock. So make sure you guys join us tonight. TikTok, subscriber-only show for Super Bowl player prop bets. We're going to do Super Bowl research live during the show, answering your questions, giving out picks, doing all of our research tonight. So you can catch us at 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight for that subscriber-only show tonight. We also, of course, have our show every single day, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, on the weekends at 12 p.m. Eastern. For all of those that have been watching, I am so grateful that you guys take time out of your day to make us a part of your sports content consumption. If you want any of my picks, DM me on Instagram. You want access to my research tool Outlier? DM me on Instagram. If you missed anything, DM me on Instagram. That's the best way to get a hold of me, and that's the best way to get my picks every single day. So, you want to see me later tonight? I'll catch you for our Super Bowl player prop bet show on TikTok Live. Until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I am so grateful to you. I hope you guys stay healthy. I hope you stay safe. And I will see you at 10 p.m. tonight. 10 p.m. tonight for a subscriber-only show on TikTok Live where we'll cover Super Bowl player prop bets. Until then, have a great night, everybody. Goodbye.